J.M. Subaya. I am a distinguished professor of food engineering in the departments of biological systems engineering and food science and technology at the University of Nebraska-Lincoln. I have been here for this is my 15th year. The game title is Apocalypse 2050. Basically, by year 2050, we will have 2 more billion people. And a lot of people wants to eat meat. That means we need a lot more grain. So we have to increase the food production by about 70% or higher. But our resources are limited. We don't have unlimited water. We don't have arable land. And we want to produce that food without polluting the environment, right? So the game starts as if like the world is going to get into chaos and the players are coming in to save the world. So they have the Sustainability Institute and the government is giving about $10 million or so. And with that money, they have to start saving the world, making a difference. So they can get help from experts, but they have to make the decisions. So the setup is a Midwest system. So we have a corn, water, ethanol, beef system. And with that $10 million, first the players have to decide where to buy the land. Do they buy the land in the eastern Nebraska, where it's a fertile, irrigated land, but they will get a smaller land because the prices are expensive? Or are they going to buy it in the western Nebraska, where they can buy a much larger land, but they have a limited resources? They first buy the land based on the conditions, and then they have to decide whether they just do the farming or just do the ranching or both. And the interesting thing about this video game is that like whenever they make the decisions, all these decisions goes back. There is this real scientific state-of-the-art mathematical models that determines based on the input and the weather data, how does the crop grow? What are the greenhouse gas emissions, whether it is a livestock growth or whatever. And based on the output from the model, the graphics in the video game changes. So at the end of the year, they find out how much yield they got, what's the profitability, what are the sustainability scores. And they go year after year. So if they try to be highly sustainable at the beginning, they may lose out and then they may get bankrupt. If they try to be very interested in the short-term gains, potentially they may make money at the beginning because their sustainability score is low. It can impact their future production and they may not be able to feed the world. Right? So they have to go through that whole cycle. The whole goal is to teach the systems thinking. So when a corn farmer makes some decisions there, it has the ripple effect on the livestock ranching, the ethanol, or when the gas price change, it impacts the ethanol pricing, that impacts the corn pricing, that impacts the beef pricing. So we want to teach that systems interaction to the youth. Our target age group is the high school audience, but we have deployed it to some of the middle school kids. They were able to pick up really well. And as the year goes by, when the global warming occurs, the game becomes very complex. So the university kids could play too. So our major target is the high school kids. And we are mainly focusing on the out-of-school activities with the 4-H club. That's our major target. We are also planning to deploy it with the Omaha Bryan High School. They have an ag education program. A lot of minority students are there. The retention is an issue. Can we deploy this as a means to have their interest in the ag-related area and then do that? The challenge is the high school curriculum is so compact and tight and scheduled that it's hard to introduce any new materials. So at the beginning, we are focusing mainly on the 4-H clubs. So right now, it focuses on the Midwest. So corn, water, ethanol, beef nexus. That's what we are focused on. And if this game becomes highly successful, ideally we want to be able to pick any ag system, whether in Florida or Africa or Canada, anywhere.
Right.
A different ag system is there, they learn things. That's what they would like to eventually go. But right now our focus is Midwest. Eventually, once to remove all the bugs, once we have a nicer story after we get the feedback and everything, then we will deploy it widely. So it will be available for anybody to use it from anywhere. Feedback. This summer we will deploy it extensively, get feedback from the kids, and we are going to refine it further. And next year sometime, next summer, our hope is to deploy it widely.